All right, Peter, how you doing, mate?
Good.
Is it Peter?
Peter. Rennie, I'm not bothered.
I'm Peter. Welcome to Unfiltered Lives, the other side, my brother. I mean, thank you for taking part. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm feeling good. It's sunny outside. Summer's coming.
I was just commenting on that hoodie of yours. I quite like that, man, hoodie.
Thank you.
Peter, what do you do for a living?
So I'm a lived experience harm reduction worker at Middlesbrough, and I've just now got the manager job for Recovery Connections in Hartlepool.
So what does that entail then?
The harm reduction is I give out clean needles, give out naloxone, training naloxone. I get people in a housing. I help people with wound care. I meet people where they're at. And I go out, do homeless sweeps, verify homeless people early hours of the morning. And now coming over at Hartlepool being the manager, I'm guessing I'm going to have, I can't believe I'm going to be a manager, you know what I mean? But I'm guessing I'm going to have a little team and we're going to try and get Recovery Connections, which is a lived experience organisation, up and running in Hartlepool.
So you just said there that you can't believe that you're going to be a manager. How can you not believe that you're going to be a manager?
Because I lived on the streets back in the day, and
you lived on the streets back in the day?
Yeah, the carnage of my life.
When did you, so we'll just start from the start. You started using drugs back when?
Yeah, so my mum passed away when I was 11. Like this is all hindsight. I didn't know any of this when it happened.
Yeah.
It was just, so my mum passed away when I was 11. I think that was the traumatic event that kick-started my life of crime, drugs and prison.
Whereabouts is this?
This is in Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough, yeah. Right. My mum passed away when I was 11 and the home felt broken. You know, my house felt broken. I lived with my sister and my dad and it just felt broken. And 2 weeks later, I started playing out with my mates at 11 on a school field and I got introduced to cannabis, smoking buckets and drinking alcohol. And I didn't stop using them until I was 36-year-old.
36, so 25 career.
25 years of, and like what happened was I was sort of 11, I started drinking, smoking weed, felt a camaraderie with the lads, you know.
So that's age 11-ish?
11,
you said, yeah. 11.
The house was broken, it felt broken.
School
I was in, like I started becoming a real angry kid, you know, so I was getting expelled out of school, kicked out of all the schools I was going to. I ended up, I think I was 14, 15 when I absolutely left school.
What did the anger look like? What did the anger feel like if you can take yourself back there? What does that 14-year-old boy?
Frustrated, abandoned. Why's my mum left me? You know, what have I done? It's everybody else's fault. But back in them days, I had there was no counselling, there was no one to speak to. You know, I didn't really speak to my family about it. I just kept it in. And what I believed in my head was that my mum knew that she was going to die. And she had me anyway, and I couldn't grasp that fact of why she did that. I only learned all this through all the therapies and the counselling sessions I did back then. And so what that looked like was I was fighting I'd fight all the schools and just violence all the time. And then I started getting arrested, getting locked up in and out of court for many years. Thank God I missed the young offenders. All my pals were going to YOIs, young offenders prisons. I just missed it.
You just missed the young offenders?
Yeah, I missed the young offenders.
What age was that then from?
So that was from like 12, I think I got my first violent offence up till about 21, you know, when I was 20. So as all this is happening with the violence and that, I start going through a menu of drugs. I start going through, the cannabis. Then I started taking the ways and then having acids and sniffing a bit of cocaine, taking the ecstasies, trying it all, loving it all. It wasn't really a problem. I just loved it all. And I thought it was a real cool thing to do. Started going out nightclubbing, everything was good. We used to look down on crackheads and smackheads, as we used to say. And, we call them and sometimes even attack them. That was something we never would do. Then one day I'm going down this alley and I see me pal, and this is how long ago it was. It was a video case. He's opened up a video case and he's just told me that he's robbed 40 ounces of crack off a drug dealer. And he showed me a few ounces of crack in this video case, and I just said, give me a go.
What age was that then?
That was at the age of 17.
17?
17.
17 and give me a go of crack?
Give me a go of the crack. Give me a go. I absolutely loved it. Couldn't believe it. Wow, what a feeling. Started feeling ashamed of what I've just done. Dead scared for me mates and that found out. But I carried on following that little crowd, smoking loads of crack. And then after a while, my head started getting a bit sketchy, started getting paranoid, started getting a bit of, I think it was early onset psychosis, if I'm honest. And someone said to me, if you try a bit of heroin, you'll be all right, you'll be laughing. You won't feel like that. So I had a few lines of heroin and they were right. I didn't. And if anything, I felt absolutely amazing off that. That was what I was looking for. The heroin.
What age was that then? So I'm 17 crack cocaine,
18 heroin.
18 with heroin.
Yeah. And so now I'm on heroin. You know, so 2 weeks after taking so I start using heroin every day. 2 weeks down the line, I wake up and I'm feeling rough. Feel like I got the flu. Feel like I got every case of the flu. I phone my pal up. I'm like, listen, I'm bad as a dog here. What? He's like, you're rattling. You're taking enough heroin, mate. Come round the house. I've got a tenner bag. If you have some of this, I bet you're going to be all right. Went round, had a few lines. Lo and behold, I was all right. So now I'm 18, living in one of the most deprived areas in England, and I'm an heroin addict and a crack addict. You know, times weren't looking great.
What about, did you have any family around you?
Yeah.
What was that?
So I had massive family, mate. My dad was so supportive, you know. My dad, you know, he owned his own business. We had our own house. He sent me to private school. You know, we used to go on holidays to Barbados. And my dad was from South America, in a place called Guyana in South America. And he took me gold dredging in the Amazon rainforest and all that. You know, my dad, like, proper looked after us. I went to private school, like I said. I got kicked out of all them. And it's funny because so my sister's 3 years older than me. She was 14-ish. I think when our mum died, I was 11. And same environment, but she reached for the stars and done really well in her life. You know, she'll still struggle because her mum passed away, of course, but she did really well and strived in life. And I just plummeted into the darkness and despair of addiction and crime and stuff. You know, so nature, I guess.
Yeah. So you're probably getting into your early 20s now, man, aren't you?
Yeah.
If I talk us through that, then any prison spells?
Yeah. So what happened was, my dad had a few quid, so I'd steal a lot off my dad, mate. That's the kind of drug addict I was. I'd steal loads of money off our dad. And then there was this one night, my sister's gone to Ministry of Sound. Our dad's gone back to his country because he used to go back every so many months. And anyway, my sister pinched some money back in the day off my dad. And I was in a crack house smoking crack all night. I came home. I was on my own in the house, and I remember thinking to myself, hey, do you remember when our Emma pinched that money? And it was under the kitchen unit. That might still be there. I've got the screwdriver out, took the kickboards off, opened, put my hand under and something was hard. Pulled out about 50 grand underneath the kitchen unit. So straight away, I've just took 10. Well, I took 5, went back to the crack house with this lass, smoked loads of crack, told her I said, I found a few quid in our house. I've nicked 500 quid. Our dad's coming back in a few days, I need to get it back. She went, listen, go get another 500 quid. We'll start selling the crack and we'll get the money back. So I thought, really good idea. So I went and got another 500 quid, blew all that in on the pipe. So now I'm $1,000 in the hole. Our dad's back in a day. So I just thought, in for a penny, in for a pound, and just took 10 grand and went. And it was a defining moment in my life. And then when I went, I woke up 3 months later in the crack house with absolutely nothing, stripped bare of weight and just emotions and spiritually and physically just dead. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to go back home, I'm going to face the music. Our dad will give us a bat and that'll be it. You know, hopefully we'll be able to put it under the carpet. I went home and our dad cried. And our dad was a bit of a gadget, you know what I mean? So I'd never seen our dad like that. And when he cried like that, the guilt and the feelings that I felt, I'd never experienced in my life. And I just remember making the decision, looking at him when he was crying, thinking, I'll never do this to you again. And a few months later, I was in jail for an aggravated knife point robbery, street robbery, you know, because I stopped stealing from my dad, but I still had a massive now addiction to feed. And that's when the crime, serious drug-related crime started happening out on the streets. And I started doing loads of street robberies and robbing people for money and drug dealers and whatever else. And this one, though, I robbed him of a mobile phone and £2.50. I got a 20 shot, got a 20 rock of crack for the £20. I got 10 Regal with a £2.50. You know, didn't think nothing of it, and I got caught for it. And I cut him as well. And I got 4 years in prison in 2003, and that was my first time in jail. And I thought, you know, this might be this. I remember being on the paddy wagon thinking, you know, this might be it. This way my life might change, you know, all that sort of stuff. I was scared because I'd never been to prison before. And I remember walking into Home House, and all the lads I hadn't seen for years, there they all are, you know, and they're all shouting, Peter, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can't believe it.
I'm home.
Yeah, these all my mates, these all my pals here. And then they just started inviting me in the cells, and we were smoking heroin in the cells. And so I just left that life and just landed in this one. And, you know, I just knew nothing was going to change. It was game on. Yeah. You know, it was back to taking drugs.
So you spent how many years in prison?
So I done 3 years out of that 4 year. And then once I started, but then this is what happened. I got out of that 3 year. I got 4 years. I done an HMP tour, as we call it, and I went all over the country into loads of different jails. And I got out of Moorlands in Doncaster. My dad come and picked me up, And my dad didn't understand about jail and license and all that. And he just said, listen, yeah, I'm going to give you 2 weeks in Middlesbrough. Do what you have to do. See your little girlfriends. Do what you have to do. And then you come in with me to Guyana. I'm taking you to South America with me. I've got a job for you in Barbados. And you're going to start working there. If you don't want to do it, I don't want to know you anymore. And I'm disowning you. These are your options. I've just been locked up for 3 years. So I was like, listen, I'll do anything. Let's go.
Yeah.
So I did what he said. And I ended up working in Barbados for 2 years. As like building condominiums, building like apartments and that. But there was no heroin over there.
So we're in the Barbados and you're building.
Yeah, I'm helping, like, not building, I didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
They put me in, they started me off as a labourer and I started doing a bit of tiling and this, that, the other. But then I found crack and rum. That was my thing,
crack and rum,
because there was no heroin. So there was a lot of smoking crack and a lot of drinking rum to come down with. And then I came home for a little holiday, like this would be my holiday and I'm coming back home. But I was wanted for a licence, I was still wanted now, because I'd skipped 2 weeks, I was here and then our dad took me away. So I'd never answered probation and now so they wanted me for my licence. So I would come home, sneak home, get through, it'd be all right. But I ended up meeting her when I come home the last time and she was mint, you know what I mean? So I just thought, so then I went back and I just kept phoning her and I thought, you know what, fuck this, I'm going home. And so I set a little job up in Canary Wharf it was called a steel decker. And we were like putting steel down for concrete to be poured on these skyscrapers. And I was working all over with these in Canary Wharf and in St Mirren's Football Club and all that. And I ended up getting pulled on the motorway, getting caught, getting remanded back, not remanded, just back to jail for licence. Went back to jail. I'm now with this lass. She's pregnant as well. She's pregnant. I ended up spending a couple of months in prison after that. And then get out, but I meet all my old pals again, in the jail and all that. So I got out and I started selling drugs, started selling crack.
What age was that then? So you must be in your mid-20s?
I'm what now? I'm about 27, 28 here. Yeah, I'm 27.
You lived a whole life to get to 27.
27, 28, and I'm selling crack. We're buying 10 ounces of crack for £9,000. We're doing it we're doing it big time here.
Yeah.
And the lad who I was with didn't, like, he was me pal and he's known me for years, but I guess he thought, maybe because I had a tan and I was a bit chubby or whatever, he thought he had it going on. But I started stealing all the pipes and cracking that, smoking crack, and and it just ended in disaster. And he just let me go, and like it was just horrible. And then I started. Then that was it. Then that was really it. It was hardcore. Then it was like started injecting in my groin, got blood clots in my leg, in and out of prison for like all kinds of different crimes. Taking drugs into prison to sell, and
So that's like a second part now, isn't it? Yeah. That's like a second big part of your life.
And this was a long out haul. This was so I was like 27 here, and now I'm not stopping until I'm 36.
9 years.
Yeah, this was just a big fucking bend of this now. And I just couldn't stop. And what happened was, so I'm with this lass. She's starting to realise, oh my God, I've got some lunatic here, because she thought she's getting a condominium builder from who's working Barbados and that. She's in there, she's normal, you know what I mean? She never took drugs and out. So I've given her this blag. And now she's realising what she's with here. And like I'm selling drugs. The door's getting kicked in all the time. I'm under the bed and my little girl's about 3-year-old going, Dad, the police are here, what are you doing under the bed? And I'm going, get away. It was all traumatic for her, and not right. I'm so selfish and self-centered and all about me. I'm not caring about anyone or anything, just about getting away with what I want to get away with so I can use drugs. And it turned into a shit show,
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, through all this, my sister as well would support me massively and look after me and let me go to her house in London and do rattles, and I'd end up robbing her, and she would never give up on me. My sister absolutely loved us, and she still was a relation, but she would never give up on me, our Emma. And then she would, and then at the end, they all had to give up on me, because for their own peace of mind.
Yeah.
And unbeknown to them and myself, it was the best thing they ever did, because once they'd give up and they said that was it, they couldn't have nothing else to do with me. This was in 2017. Even me dad and all that, that was it. They washed their hands. I ended up homeless on the street, proper homeless, street homeless, not getting washed.
So what does proper homeless
So proper like? Homeless for me was...
Proper homeless look like?
2017, Beast of the East had came into play. So it was absolutely freezing. I remember that. I was barred out of every hostel in Middlesbrough. So that they would not house me nowhere. So I was absolute. When it dropped below, like let's say -7, they housed me under a severe weather warning act. and they'd put me in like a hostel. But then let's say if you got a -2, he'd come knocking on my door and say, listen, you got to get out of the hostel. And I'd be like, come on, I haven't even done that wrong. And he'd say, get out or you won't be coming back in. And it was just horrible. So I tried to kill myself. I didn't tell anyone what I was going to do. I just thought, this is it. I've made a decision. I got a big lump of heroin, injected a big lump of heroin into my groin in Groville, and thinking that was going to be the end. And I woke up with a girl kicking me in the head, saying, you little baghead, get out my garden. My kids are in bed, get out my garden. And I just remember waking up thinking, oh my God, what's going on here? Like, I was losing my mind. And then lo and behold, a string of events started to happen. I don't know if you want to talk about spirituality, like I'm not religious enough, me, but I must have connected to something there where
spirituality is important, mate. Just talk how you find it.
Something happened to me there, something surreal happened to me where a string of events happened. So I used to smoke crack with this lass, and I went to my methadone prescriber like I would most days. And this lass is in there, and she doesn't look like she's smoking crack anymore. And she was like, Peter, how you doing? And all that. I was like, well, what's happening to you? She's like, I work in a rehab. I know a way out. I can get you in. I was like, where's the rehab? She was like, in Middlesbrough. And I was like, I'm from Middlesbrough. I know everything. Like, I thought I knew everything about Middlesbrough and everything to do with drugs and that. And she was like, no, it's from Martin Roads. It's called Recovery Connections. I work that and get you in. Just going to have to jump through some hoops to get in. So I said, listen, I'll do whatever it takes. Whatever I have to do, I'll do what. So I did. I did all the groups she told me to do. And in March 2018, Recovery Connections let me in the rehab on Martin Roads, and I done my rattle. I was on pregabalin, I was on zopiclone, I was on heroin, I was on crack, I was injecting cocaine, I was on 40 ml of methadone. I had to come off all that, and it was hard. It was an hard time in my life. But someone said to me, my man in there, my counsellor said to me, Peter, because there was a breaking point. I was like, listen, I'm done, I'm going. And he was like, listen to me, before you do go, just remember, this is the last time you ever have to do this, mate. You will never, ever have to do this ever again. If you stick at it now, think about your kids, think about your family, think about yourself. It's going to be all right if you get through it. And I stayed, and, thank God I got through it. And, so I've done 5 months in that rehab, built my family back up. Started making an amends for what I did, and started to acknowledge and take some responsibility and accountability for what I did.
So what year was that then? So 2017?
2018, March
2018.
Yep, and I got out of there. So then in the rehab, this man said to me, I think you should go to college. And I was like, I got kicked out of school at 14. I was like, what do you mean go to college? And he was like, I think, you see me do a bit of writing, I guess. And he was like, I think you could do all right. So he put me forward for a test, and a maths and English test. I did the maths and English test, seemed to have passed all right. Probably through the jail literacy and numeracy tests. And they put me on an access course, on a humanities and social science access course. I didn't really know what access course meant at this time. I started going to college, because what he told me so far works. So I thought, I'm just going to follow what you say, keep doing what you're telling me to do. And so I left the rehab in September on a Friday, and I started college on a Monday, and I started doing this access course. It was all alien. I'd never been in a classroom setting like that, but I don't know, I was open. Something had opened up inside of me. Recovery had started to set in, and I was teachable, and I stopped being arrogant and closed-minded and ignorant. And I was open to suggestions, and I was willing to follow direction, and it just all started to happen. And I started to do all right on the assignments. Started to get merits, and which started to build my self-esteem. I'm thinking, hang on a minute, I'm onto something here, I do this.
Yeah.
I was struggling for money at the time because I stopped committing crime. I was getting £120 every 2 weeks, I think. So, our lass were trying to do it properly, where we weren't claiming anymore and pretending to not live there and all that stuff we used to do. So we were doing, and we really struggled. But again, my sister came back through and started to help us out with a bit of coin, started to look after me again, and started to help me out. Thank God I've been able to put all that right now. But yeah, she looked after me, our Emma, and thank God for that. And I got through college, and I remember in college one day saying to me, right, today we're going to write a letter to the university. And I was like, why are we writing a letter to the university? She went, you're on an access course, Peter, and it's an access course to university. That's what you're going to do. I was like, no. And she was like, yeah. So I was like, all right.
So you didn't even know you were on an access course?
Didn't even know what it was for. Just thought, I'm going on a humanities and social sciences. It sounded really good. Let's do it. I ended up writing the letter, passing the course with a merit, and I got into Teesside Uni on a psychology and counselling degree. And I got there, and then they started giving me money. They gave me $4,500 first of all. They gave me $4,500 in that September. I couldn't believe it. I'd never had money like that clean. So I I remember, I think my sister put a few quid, well, she did put a few quid to the Canada Goose, but I put a few quid to a Canada Goose. I bought Alexander McQueen, where I just went off it with the first pot of money. But then I started to learn, I started to learn, hang on, because I had to have my hand out again and feel all in feelings of like, oh God, you're not a fully self-supporting individual, and you're not still beg people. And so the next time I got the money, I started to manage it better, and I was just learning. It was just, it was like I was brand new. I felt like I'd woke up, everyone was having a party, and I'd been asleep for 25 years, missed out on the party. And all of a sudden, they've let me in on the party, and all I have to do is eat things, and it's going to be really good. And I started going on holidays. My sister again took us to Turkey. She paid for it and took us all to Turkey and that. And I got through the course, and I'd done really well in uni. I'd done absolutely, I passed with a 2-1, and I graduated with a 2-1 on the psychology. I started working for the Royal College of Psychiatry, going around all the prisons in the country. They flew me out to Northern Ireland, Londonderry, to go to a prison called McGilligan, HMP McGilligan it was called, and they give me like £150 for me tea, and they said, you can go anywhere. So I sat with me tea ends on me trackies in this like Michelin star restaurant eating fillet steaks and all that, just thinking, wow, like, where's my life got to here? And I would go to prisons and I would tell them my experience, and then I was also volunteering for Recovery Connections, being ambassador. I joined a fellowship, I got a sponsor, and they started working a 12-step program, and they started to find out about, all my stuff, my addiction, and about being powerless. When I put one in, I can't stop, and all this sort of stuff, which was just knowledge, and I felt like a sponge, just taking it all in, and it was changing my life. And I started making an amends to my little girl, and then I got a job. My third year of uni, I ended up getting a job with Recovery Connections. They employed me as a lived experience harm reduction worker, which was amazing. And, I ended up buying my own house. Me and our lass, we bought our own house. Passed my driving test, which, done loads of amazing things. And in 2021, my dad became really ill, but thank God I got to make an amends to my dad. And he said some beautiful things to me. I was proud. Like, the biggest gift recovery's given me is my dad passing away. My dad passed away at 86 in 2021 of COPD, but it's the biggest gift it's ever given me, because I was able to be present. Like, I'd look after him. I was like his carer for the last year. I would go around, I would cut his toenails, I would cream all his skin.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I would put him in the shower.
Absolutely beautiful.
And he used to say, son, I'm so proud of you. I trust you. You're the only one I want round here, and stuff like that, And I think, wow, this is, our dad would trust me, and what a gift that was. That is a gift. And I was there for him, and I didn't want nothing. Like, our dad couldn't leave any money around me and me, because I'd just steal everything off him, where I would give him anything. There was nothing too big or too small. I'd do anything. He used to go on about the computer stuff, and that would irritate me, because he was always mess up on his emails and that. But, I would say, Dad.
So you gave him that last year?
I gave him it, yeah.
How big is that, brother?
Yeah. And
how big is that?
I got us, and when he passed away, he was on the driver, and I put my hand on his chest and felt his last heartbeat. It was dead emotional, it was dead painful, but it was a blessing, It was a blessing that I was there, and he got to see me become a good dad. He got to see me buy my own house, become a man, go to uni. I think I was 3 year clean then. I think I was all 3 year clean then. So he got to see all that. He was just over the moon, and what a gift. It was amazing.
The stories of recovery, right, that I've heard, and then the stories of recovery that I've heard, Peter, and yours is definitely a story of recovery, then getting recovered, and then doing all the stuff that you've been doing now, giving all the stuff back that you're given, the work coming that you're doing now in Middlesbrough and Hartlepool, plus the story that you can share that is going to go out, man, on YouTube. It's going to be phenomenal for people to hear, because the people who are going to watch this are just not going to think that you're just this ordinary bloke who wears nice hoodies.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They don't know that there's a big, massive story behind the face that people can identify me with. And your story is one that people are going to identify me with, because you've been through that mill time and time again. But you have got to the bottom, and then you went even lower than the bottom, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then ultimately to give your dad back the last year, a couple of years, of seeing his son doing well is the biggest gift of being recovered, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing, and then it's given me so many other, my relationship with my little girl is unbelievable. Me and her are just so tight. She's my best pal, my girl. She's called Carmen. She's unbelievable. I love her to bits. And, we've been all over the world now. I've took them back to Barbados, where I used to work now. I've took them to Mexico. And like I've just been able through, you know, all this stuff is, so I've just paid for my sister. Finally being able to give my sister something. We're all going to Greece in the end of May, and I've paid for it to come. And she was like, I can't believe it. And you know, it makes me feel emotional being able to do that for her, Emma. You know, it really does.
What does a day in the life look like in Peter now? What does a day in the life look like, my brother?
Well, it's just, I don't know, I'm busy, me, now. When I got clean, I thought, what am I going to do? It's going to be boring now.
I know, you know, I hear that all the time. I thought, there's not enough hours in the day, is there?
And now, yeah, there's not enough hours in the day. It's absolutely wild. You know, so I get up on the morning, I do like, you know, I pray, I've got a higher power. I just believe that I keep doing the right thing keeps happening. I'm tapped into some sort of energy that's there for me, you know, and I tap into it every day, every morning without fail. I have done for 6 years. I tap into that in the shower. I get myself together because I feel like my disease, if you want to call it a disease in my head, it's up before me. It's already talking to me as soon as I get up, negative thoughts. Oh God, you know, so I have to get myself in the zone, be positive and get right, let's go. And then my mission for the day is to try and pull my people out of the trenches. You know, I believe, because I should be, all my pals are dying here. So I believe that I should be dead. There's a reason why I'm not. You know, and I believe it's to help others and pull them out. So that's my main focus of the day. And I've just really swapped one addiction for another, if I'm honest. You know, recovery's my addiction.
Yeah.
But it's a positive one.
Pulling your pals at the trenches. That will be the header for this.
Yeah.
Pete, thanks very much for an incredible share, mate. That was absolutely phenomenal, mate. Just a hug, brother.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, mate. Oh, thank you.